Dean, thank you so much for joining.
Yeah, I must thank you for inviting me to have these wonderful talks with you. I've been watching what you've been doing. You're doing a great job. I really appreciate that.
Dean Mazhawidza, I've introduced you to everyone as the ex-Zim U cricketer.
So, where am I? It's a big question, because there's a lot about Dean. Okay, what can I say about Dean? Dean is ambitious person who likes to achieve, if I were to say. Yeah, I used to play cricket, that's Dean, but the Dean now is different. Yeah, Dean, I'm a family man now. I think I can start there. I've got a lovely daughter, love my family. I run a career education consultant. I like to see young people achieving their goals. I think that's being Dean, because if Dean sees people achieving or reaching their goals, Dean is happy. So that's the new Dean now, and I think that was the old Dean before. So yeah.
Fantastic, Dean. I've thrown you into the deep end first up because I wanted to talk about the poster we made, Dean. We had you on one side in your cricket clothing, and we had you on one side in your number ones in your jacket and tie. And you know what can you draw back on your cricketing days? I know you said that you used to play.
The experiences of playing with players during the World Cup, at franchise level, and also coming to varsity and meeting different kind of people who are also good in cricket, great personality. I think in a nutshell, that's it. And all the knocks that I've scored, some of them I don't even remember, and people always remind me about. So yeah, and all the disappointments as well. Yeah, and one still stands out is the Varsity Cup. So yeah. So yeah, that's Dean in cricket, if I were to say.
So Dean, you said you've had many a knock. Is there one that is very memorable to you?
Yeah, the one that I can remember now, I think Brian Jawi reminded me about that knock. It was the final of the Vine Cup tournament, the T20 tournament. We played against Takashing, I think, and I scored like a 75. And they say, I was for real. They say I was hitting sixes all over the park, and that inning made us win the league. So I think that's one of the most memorable innings I can say. Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic, Dean. And I'm not going to ask about your bowling because I've seen what that looked like.
I'm a good bowler.
You've gone through all the ranks. What made you walk away from all of that?
I think what stood from all of that is the hard work that I put behind the scenes. Where I came from, I never went to a cricketing school at primary level. I think that's where they always say that's the grassroots of cricket. A lot of hard work and ambition and believing and visualizing, seeing yourself out there. I think that stood out for me because I didn't have the talents. That's the honest truth. But I had the hard work and the belief in me that one day I will make it to the top. In terms of what stood out, I think it's the hard work that I put to be part of the Under-19 World Cup. It was tough, I don't want to lie to you. You're competing with people from all over the country. Some are talented than you. You need to put on the numbers on the table so that the selectors can approve you so that you can be part of the team. So I think the hard work and what I used to believe back then and the belief that I have inside of me made me to be who I am in terms of my cricketing career.
See, that couldn't have been easy.
That's an interesting story. When I used to go, I never thought one day I will go to university. That's the honest truth. Because I thought the cricket was going to be the be all and the end all. And I think the reality came when I failed my O level, and I was told that I had to repeat. My father actually told me, "Listen, boy." I'll say what he told me. "Listen, boy. Cricket is not going to be your living. You need to back it up with your education. So you need to go back to school, do these O levels, pass, then you can play cricket again." That's what he told me. That's his words, actually. So I went back, I humbled myself, because you know, when you're playing cricket and you're making the age groups, you're the issue at the school. So I went back, I started working hard again in my education. I passed my education. Then from there, my father was like, "You can play cricket again." Then after cricket, then I went to the World Cup. So he gave me a year, which is like Form 5, to say, "This is your year to play your cricket. I know you're going to be touring and doing whatever that you want to do, but you need to do it now. After the World Cup, you need to go back to your books, because I want you to have the balance between sport and education." So I want to thank my father for actually mentoring me or guiding me to be what I am today. So after that, then I got the scholarship, UWC under sports skills. So when I went there, I also met a great person, which is Nicholas Koch, and we disagreed in a lot of things, and we agreed in a lot of things. So it actually helped me, yeah.
Phenomenal. Dean, you touched on something that I want to just jog back to. You spoke about how your dad was such an influential figure in your life, going through all of the age groups and advising you on how to go about things. Where do you think you'd have been without him?
To be honest, I would be in Zimbabwe right now, maybe playing franchise cricket, going to England, coming back. Not saying it's a bad thing, but I don't think I would have expressed myself in a better way, or in a way that I would want to do as a person. Because right now, like, it's life is a journey. It takes you in different direction, and you also need to know what you want and how you're going to get it. So without him, I think that's where I will be, and I'm very grateful he was there for me. He actually guided me. He mentored me. He nurtured me to be what I am today, and I would want to pass it down to the next generation as well.
Phenomenal. And when I hear you say that, Dean, that makes me jump straight into, I see you're all branded up with your Future Pathways clothing. Is that where that came from?
It's an interesting story. So it was always something that was always in my mind, and especially when I started my postgraduate, my honors. But I did not know how to structure it to be what it is today, and it's still work in progress, because it's not done yet. You understand? And life is a journey. Always learn. So
Yeah.
I want to put it under an NGO. I give free services, but I didn't know how to structure it. Then when I did my master's in industrial psychology, yes, I had to do career guidance and support to schools. So one of sports skills schools allowed me to assess their kids. So that's when I realized that a lot of young people, or a lot of people in general, they don't know who they are. And that's a big factor. And if you look at statistics, it says 90% of people, they don't know who they are. And it's scary to hear that. And it seems like we are just human beings that are living in the artificial world and not achieving or doing what is inside of us, or what we think and dream about every single day. So from that day, when I assess these kids and ask them, "Have you ever done a personality test?" Even through my coaching experiences at Random House, at High TS, I used to interact with questions. They tell me they've never heard it, even in private and public schools. So that's when I realized the big gap, and a lot of people need to be helped in doing all these things.
Wow, that's great to hear. You know, it's not often that people stop and really think about the problems out there and want to solve them, and not just be head down. That's probably where my first question came from. Who is Dean? Because you are the brains behind such sort of knowledge and assisting youngsters getting to know themselves. You said it yourself, 90% of people don't know who they are. So there's absolutely massive scope for you to assist there, isn't there?
Yeah, there is, and I cannot do it alone. And that's the other thing. I can only help a certain number of people, and we need to have a lot of services that actually help people who they are. And that's why I'm happy with what you are doing. You're actually assisting another niche that I cannot get, or the next person can't get, to understand themselves and what they want to do in life.
Yeah, I love that, Dean. And always, it's always about joining hands and seeing how best we can always assist and seeing how we can deliver solutions for the next African generation, because that is one thing that is often neglected.
Yeah, that is true, and it's been neglected for generations, and this is only the beginning, like I said earlier. And there's a lot of work to be done, Gori. The next generation have to still doing the same things, breaking generational cases, helping other people to lift themselves, to know themselves, and achieve what they're meant to be. Because I believe everybody was born rich. It's all about how do you go about it to be rich. That's the process that takes a lot of people time and resources to know themselves.
Not just a former cricketer, but a wise man we've got in the building tonight. Dean Mazhawidza, for anyone who's just joined in, we've got Dean Mazhawidza, former Zimbabwe under-19 cricketer, also played some first-class cricket in Zim, and now he's the founder of Future Pathways, an educational consultancy that he's busy with. And Dean, absolutely phenomenal. You know, I love hearing about stuff like this and how you are helping communities. And we've seen some of the work you've been busy with out at schools, in underprivileged communities. That must be very fulfilling.
Yeah, it is. It's nice to see what you've been thinking and what you've been um, doing behind the scenes coming into action, and also seeing the results, even if it's small results. But you know, one day it's going to be bigger results. You're going to attract a lot of crowd where they're going to benefit from this type of services. And yeah, it is actually satisfying. I'm very grateful and happy to see the youth advancing and also doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Brilliant. And as you say, it's something you want out there to empower the youth. And I see there's a comment here from Tendai Mashonganyika who says, uplift them youths. I think that's how you would probably read it out. If there's a young person out there who's watching this somewhere and they want to know about Future Pathways, how can they find out more and how can they get the best out of the services that you do offer?
Okay, so the services we offer, nutshell, it's knowledge of self. We want to teach the youth or young people to know who they are. And by doing that, we use various career exploration activities, like career assessment. We use value skills, because without knowing in terms of your values, you don't know exactly what you're doing and what sticks you. We also do personality assessments, where you know if you're an introvert, an extrovert, are you a sensing persuasive person. We also do competencies. Competencies ranges from knowledge, motives, skills that a person have, because everybody, I believe, have got skills. Also do career development questionnaires, which actually help you to know which stage are you in terms of your career development. Are you career mature? Are you still lacking some aspects that you want to do in life so that you can be where you are? So those are the type of services that we do, and coaching sessions where we interact with the young kid when it comes to knowing what type of jobs do they want to do. We give them job descriptions. We go in depth with the job descriptions so that they understand where they will be. It's all about visualizing. So we're creating that image in their head so that they can start going after that goal or that image that they portray in their head. So that's what we do at Future Pathways.
I was about to jump into another question, Dean, but something you said there stood out for me. And I think it is a unique, and I don't know if it's just a unique African problem, but it's certainly something that we have identified a lot, which is whereby you have young children who have aspirations and goals, but what they end up doing with their education is based on what their parents or peers are saying and not necessarily what best suits them.
Yeah, it's a generational case that needs to be broken, God will. It's been happening for quite some years, if I were to say, because most of the time, I think to some extent, I fell into that trap because my father used to work at a bank, and I used to say, okay, one day I will work in a bank, but that's not who I am. That's not what makes me tick or it gives me that drive that everybody needs in life. So it's important for parents as well, because sometimes parents might think that they know their kids, but they don't know their kids, because even their kids, they don't know themselves. Then that's a big gap that needs to be filled. So it's important for parents to have information about their kids which they're not aware of, because everybody has got a blind spot. Even parents do have a blind spot towards their kids. So by doing these services or assessments, they help you to see that blind spot or something that is always in your subconscious, you understand? And then it surfaces up so that you can follow that. So it's important for parents to support their kids, if I were to say this, support their kids, but not to force them to do what they do or to live their lifestyles through their kids. It's wrong to do that.
Phenomenal, Dean, and I really think there's massive scope for that. And as you've done so, hats off to you for the job you are doing. And for us, the meat and drink comes from education and sport. And we, as Africa Sports Consultancy, do you see the value of education and sport?
Yes, I think it's in America. They've started it, especially in American football and basketball, about raising student athletes. Because if I don't know, if I do a lot of research, so research says most athletes have gone through depression after their retirement, or those who don't make it, they also go through depression. So you ask yourself, why do they go through depression? And why do they get depressed when they have so much money after retirement? So it's that feeling of fulfillment or satisfaction that they don't get because they've got the money, but they don't feel like they're giving back or doing what they think they should be doing. So it's important to have that balance of student athlete combination, because it helps you to be what can I say, to be active after retirement. Because when you retire, you're 35, you still have almost 25 years till when they say that's the right age to retire, which is 65. So what do you do with that 25 years? So it's important to plan for that 25 years so that you keep yourself occupied and give back, and also things that you used to like when you were playing sport. For example, some people, for example, Beast is now a CEO of a security company. So he's giving himself something that you would want to do, his expertise, his experience, is giving it back to a security company. So it's important to plan for that life after sport.
Absolute gems that Dean has brought up there. I know you spoke about sports and education, and you spoke about retiring. Is that important, let's say, for young athletes who may not necessarily become professionals, but they just play at, be it a social or a lower age group level?
Yeah, I think it's important to all levels, God will, because even youngsters who are aspiring to be professional athletes, sometimes it doesn't go your way, because they say 1 in every 50 becomes a Messi. What happens to the other 49? Because remember, those youngsters that we're talking about, one day they will be parents. One day they will be fathers. One day they will be mothers. How are they going to feed for their family if they have failed to be what they want to be in life? You understand? So I always give the best advice that I give to a youngster is, don't look what is happening currently. Look at what will happen in the next 15 to 20 years. What are you going to be? You understand? How are people going to see you? What are you going to give back to where you have? So people in sport right now, people are looking for sporting administrators. You understand? We have played the game, we understand the game, whether it's basketball, netball. So if you have that mindset and that education with you, it's easy for you to tap in those doors or in those gaps, and you can become a managing director who has played the sport, understand the sport, and also know how to run the sport. So there are a lot of careers in sports, and a lot of sports people need to be told about it. It's not only being a professional player, or that's it. That's what sport is about. There are careers. You can be a marketing director in a sporting company. You can be a psychologist in a sporting team. You can be physiotherapy in a sporting team. There's a lot. I can name a few.
Wow, Dean, talking there about broadening horizons, and Dean actually tackled a question that I was going to throw at you, just in what you've just said. So absolutely fantastic that you said, Dean. Thank you so much.
I really appreciate Godwill. Thanks for having me. Like I said, this is good what you're doing. It's raising awareness, and I wish you and your team all the best. And we are here to support each other and grow, because we can only do so much if you are individuals, but we can do so much if you are united. So I'm happy with what you're doing.
Fantastic. Thank you so much to Dean, and thanks for the kind words. And I know the team is working hard behind the scenes. And for everyone who's tuned in and watched tonight, thank you so much for tuning in. We always appreciate your support and always taking time out to come and watch. As we always do, we want to sign out and say thanks for watching, and keep looking after yourself, keep looking after your loved ones, and keep sanitizing those hands. Enjoy the rest of your evening.